Good morning and welcome to Kramer's Corner with Daily Technical Update as we are warming up to Nvidia results or earnings planned to be released tomorrow, probably after market. Then we'll just have a quick look and see in Nvidia. 130 seems to be a strong resistance for the share price. It actually did close above the cloud here the other day, Friday, but as you can also see, it didn't really follow through and it's struggling a little, but we also have the RSI that is actually above the 60 threshold. We are in a positive sentiment, but it seems like it's stalling a bit. And we also have this bearish engulfing here, taking out the previous 2 days trading. So that is really a key level, it seems. So that's going to be interesting what will happen here tomorrow, especially after earnings release. On the S&P 500, despite a new higher high, it didn't close higher, so it didn't close above the bearish engulfing top there from last week, the 22nd of August. So the top and reversal pattern is still in place. So market is sending mixed signals. It's actually sending a signal saying, well, top and reversal pattern, but we are above the cloud. We also is still in positive sentiment. So it will be interesting. Wednesday or especially Thursday could be really key for what will happen on the market after the Nvidia earnings. I think that's what the market is waiting for. We also have here the Nasdaq 100 bearish engulfing still very much in play, despite the fact that we have the RSI that actually did close above 60 threshold there, meaning we are in a positive sentiment and should be able to push higher. But we have this top reversal pattern here that needs to be cancelled, and by cancelling it will mean it has to close above the high at 19,939. So that will be key. But then we also have strong resistance in this area here with the gap and 20,211. If it closes above that, well, then expect higher highs. On the European market, the EUROSTOXX 50 seems to be, it did close above this little resistance here. It's not the strongest one, but it appears to be, well, at first take it was not the strongest one. It seems to be a little bit of a struggle despite that. And we have the 60 threshold. It actually did close above, as far as I remember, yes, 60.11. So it's struggling. We also have the 100 moving average coming down here. I think we could be stuck range bound a little bit here, but I think it also will it need to take direction from the US market. Can it actually follow through and close above the cloud, or will it slide lower towards 4,800 in coming days? So I will be in a wait and see mode. DAX actually more bullish than that, and it has a little bit of a resistance up here, and let's just add that line there around 18,780. It is above this resistance that we saw here. So we are in a positive sentiment, we are in a bullish trend, and you can also see 55 moving average and 100 moving are actually turning around and slightly at least. So it supports further upside potential for DAX, and that could also spill into EUROSTOXX 50 obviously. On the other hand, we have AEX Amsterdam that is really struggling, just moving sideways despite closing this gap here. If it does close below 900, then expect it to slide lower. And negative sentiment still on the RSI. It seems like the 55 moving average really putting a lid on it here, and it really needs to close above that for a push towards the 927, 928 stronger resistant level. And the RSI needs to close above 60 threshold for to support a bullish trend. What we have on CAC 40 is actually quite different. We had higher levels yesterday. RSI closed above 60, and now it's testing the lower part of the cloud here. We are in a bullish trend and sentiment. You can also see 55 slowly starting moving around here. I think we still could see a little bit of a retracement before push up to 7,700, maybe 7,725 in this region where we have the 100 coming down and the 200 moving average also. That will be a really hard nut to crack. That's going to be a tough one to break this resistance level there. But we could get up to there. But it's been a hell of a ride the past, in August in general. The Swiss market slowly crawling towards, and I think it could test the previous all-time high here, 12,434. Whether it will break it higher or not is debatable. I think we'll get a little bit of a correction lower towards 12,250, 200-ish level, where we have some support. I will say we have a bit of a support here, and that's what you can do. Also, there's a little bit of support there because we had this little mini correction there. So that will be 12,219. But we are on a positive sentiment. We should push higher on the Swiss market. The FX market, not that much to report. I mean, the euro dollar, well, the uptrend seems to stall a little bit. We have this steep rising wedge-like pattern here, where we should see a correction lower to at least the 38.2 retracement, but we could see a dip all the way down to 110. But as we also talked about, there is a room up to 112.75. There's no strong resistance until then. So I think at first the correction short term will be fairly limited, and before we see a push towards 112.75. At least there's room up to, and we have a minor divergence here on the RSI, I believe, and that could tells you that there is uptrend exhaustion in looming, at least short term. Euro sterling, I think we'll see a dip down to the 786 retracement at 84.35. But look at this, we still have the RSI above the 40 threshold. Will it stay above or will it close below? That will be the key question here the next few days. And then if it can stay above and doesn't close below, well, then we will have a rebound in euro sterling. And that can also come from a cable that has really been pushing high lately. There's still room up to the 161.8 projection of this correction here. 132.80. I could see it pushing to, despite we had this yesterday. We had this doji-like, but it was inside the long bullish candle here. So, and there's currently no divergence indicating we're likely to see a higher levels on cable before correction. You can also see how last week it actually did close above a key resistance, and there's not much strong resistance on the short term at least. Dollar yen, well, it did form, as we talked about, this bottom and reversal like pattern, but there was a little bit warning sign that maybe it wasn't that clear signal on bottom reversal, because there was divergence on the there was no divergence on the RSI, and well, it did sell off lower and got rejected there at the upper falling trend line, and it dipped down to the 786 retracement of this correction here at 143.32. And now it seems to bounce once again. So I will say if it gets back above these levels here around 146.5, well, then there could be further upside towards 149. But let's see, we are still in a downtrend. The selling pressure could resume, and there is no divergence on the RSI indicating we could see it. So please keep your stops tight. If it takes out the lows, then, well, from yesterday, then dollar yen will continue lower. Euro yen tested once again 160.55, a key support here, and that is now really a key support. If it takes out that, well, then we're looking at 157.5, possibly lower in this region here between 158 and 156.5. Otherwise, we could see a bounce up towards the 164. So I want to see a break of this range here. You could play the range bound if you want to. That is also a possibility, but pushing below the 160.55, then expect a selling pressure. Also yen, really boring at the moment, and 96.75 to the downside and 99.20 to the upside are the levels to look out for. Sterling yen 192 is likely to be tested very close to, at least if it breaks above, well, then expect a move towards 195. We could see it all the way up to 197.65. Not in one go. It will take some time, but it will have established an uptrend. So that's key to watch out for. Aussie dollar, I think we'll see a correction a little bit. There is maybe down to 67 at least in this region here, but it could be lower than that. It has been one hell of a ride, very strong. You see massive sell-off buying up there. I think we'll see a bounce, but we are also, a correction, but we are also in an uptrend, and we could move higher in the coming weeks and days. There's room up to around 69 if it can get above the 68 level. Dollar Canada, I think the downtrend is very close to exhaustion, but there's still room down to around 134.50, 134.40 in this region here. Then I think we'll see a correction or a bounce when we reach that. And I believe we will reach that. At least look out for the support levels there. It is not a recommendation to buy down there, by the way. This is for educational purposes only. We have Euro Swiss currently trading around the 32 retracement at 94.5. Let's adjust a little bit so we can actually see what's going on. 94.45. If it takes out that, well, then we are looking at the lows from today. Then we're looking at 61.8 retracement at 93.55. Dollar Swiss lower in a bearish trend. Currently there's a divergence. You can see we had a new lower low yesterday in terms of closing. I know we dipped below here, but the RSI is now indicating a higher value, so we have a bit of divergence here, so also a little bit of exhaustion phase. Still there's room to dip to 84.30-ish level, but if it starts moving back above 85, then we could see a correction. Keep an eye on that, and maybe that can also be a little bit influenced, of course, at what's going on in the in euro dollar. Dollar index 100.32, very close to, could still test it, but we are a little bit stressed in the downtrend here. So a correction could come in if we say another spike lower. Moving on to gold, that tried to push higher yesterday. It was also the highest close, as you can see. We still have a little bit of divergence. And if you're one of the Danish listeners or viewers, I did send out a special edition in Danish yesterday on gold, but there's nothing in it that hasn't been also delivered or written on the English version. You can see that a few days back. Just saying. So it seems like it's really trying to push higher, but can't really. But 24.84 key support, but if it takes out 24.70, that little spike down there, then expect a correction down below 24.50, maybe testing the lower rising trend line. So keep your stops close if you're long here, but we are, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. So we are still in a bullish trend, but it is a bit fragile, and there is a little bit of imbalance. On the silver contract, on the silver spot, then we have closed, when was that, Friday above the resistance at 29.45. I think we can push higher. We are currently trading around the $30 level, and but the thing is, it hasn't closed above 60 threshold. I want to see that. Let's see, it didn't do that. No, it didn't. I want to see that for further upside potential. So really struggling here at the cloud. I think it will materialize. We have the 100 moving average coming up. We have the 55 turning out slowly around, but it seems to be a little bit of a struggle. But I think silver will crawl higher. We are also in a bullish trend. Just need confirmation from the RSI. And the copper side, interesting development this morning. Copper opened above 422.35 resistance. We just need the RSI to close about 60 threshold, but there is potential now up to 440, which is the 61.8 of this downtrend here, the last leg down here in the wedge-like pattern, and where we also have the 100 moving average giving some resistance. So I think we'll see it pushing higher here in the coming days. If it slides back below 420, then we could see it sliding also lower back to test the upper falling trend line from the upper side. On the oil contract, well, strong bounce there, but still we are in this triangle-like formation here with lower and lower volatility, despite showing a lot of volatility, but it's getting less and less. And you can see it seems like this is the blue scenario is what could be materializing, but let's see. At least now, for now, it seems like it will push higher towards the 82, 83 level. Finally, on the US Treasury yields, well, it did again spike below the 479, but also again it did close back above. So it seems like this is where we are at the moment. It's hovering around this level here, and it's forming like a flag, kind of. You can say it's a wedge, but wedge is should be more than 3 weeks. But a wedge-like pattern, a flag or pennant. It is actually. We need to break out of this to possibly to the upside, but let's see. For now, we are still in a downtrend. All right, that's all for today. Have a nice day and happy trading.